Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another MLS strategy video. In this one we're going to go over game week 68 results, open up some possible rewards we may have won, and also preview game week 70 and the fixtures we have for that one in the MLS. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. So we're going to start off looking at the limited teams. As you can see here, this is just a brief overview of everything that ran out. The bottom two teams here, pretty much throwaways. Maybe this one not so much, as we expected them all to start, but yeah, no big scores here. Knew we were getting a DMP keeper here. We were unsure about Suleiman starting. He did manage to start. Abada didn't manage to start, which was quite a surprise. However, might start to become the normal. As I think I've said previously, I thought he's had a pretty poor start of the season and he's pretty much dropped out the full team here. Basically, he only came on the 90th minute or something. Yeah, only got 1 minute. Players like Cohen Vargas picked ahead of him to come on. So yeah, not looking good for the Alabada. This other Charlotte stack, we had obviously Kalina in net. He got an error let it go. I think it was pretty harsh, I'll be honest. I didn't think it was an error let it go. Not much he could have done about it. He tried to just tip it over when it looped over his head, and he did get a hand on it, but once before the player who tapped it in. Zaha got his goal, as we will see with the other teams. Good, he won the penalty. He managed to score the penalty, which was really nice. This in-season throwaway team, we knew we were getting the DMP keeper. Jack Maher had a bit of a nightmare game against Charlotte. We kind of expected that to happen, to be honest. Yusuf got 10A in a relatively tough away fixture, which is okay. Privet didn't start, which was one we were unsure on. Toklamati didn't start. He managed to come on and get a goal, which was a great goal, by the way. So yeah, good for Toklamati. And then the two main in-season teams. As when we said when we were building it, this Minnesota stack with Vargas up front was a bit of a punt, but I kind of fancied the fixture. However, even though Boxall did get the last man tackle, he unfortunately conceded the penalty, which is unfortunate. NYC did manage to get one goal. I think they pulled one back. I believe they were 2-0 down. So yeah, no standout scores from the Minnesota guys I had, apart from Rosales, who looks to be firmly back from injury now and putting up great AA, which is nice to see. And then the main Charlotte in-season team, obviously we spoke about Kalina. Burned it pretty poorly in this one. Abada didn't start. However, as we said, Zaha got his goal, and Pep Biel managed to get an assist, which was really nice. Great assist as captain, which managed to pull in 5 essence, which was nice. There are no promotions or relegations in all of these lot, which was quite surprising. But yeah, quite a decent limited outfit this week. No big rewards, but yeah, no disasters. And then we move on to the rare teams. This was the last team we built. I think we even built this after the limited teams. We knew Bingham wasn't going to play. We'll put Ndembe on debut in here, 53A. We thought Kansas might have turned it around in this game. They did. They got their first win in I don't know how long. Ndembe did brilliant. They actually got a clean sheet, which is unheard of for them, really. Manny Garcia with an assist, which we will see coming up soon. And then the rest of the team did pretty decent. So a big score from Ndembe. Brodigo didn't bring in a big score. Derek Williams actually DMP, which was quite unexpected. And then Joseph Martinez, 99 score hat-trick, which was massive. We actually managed to captain him as well, which was great. And as you can see just over here, it was 311 points for promotion. We scored 312. So a complete throwaway of a 3-man team did manage to get us promotion, which was really nice. And that's why I think you should always put your spare pieces into them D3s to try and maybe chance a bit of XP, essence, or even a promotion. Moving on to the main classic team, CJ dos Santos with a clean sheet at home at Seattle, which was really nice. Weren't massively expecting that, but we knew it was a reasonable home game for San Diego. As we've seen earlier, Burn a pretty poor score. Almiron managed to get a goal. I believe this was a penalty, which was nice as captain. We choose the right captain here. Maybe obviously Dos Santos, but yeah, nice by Almiron. And then De La Torre and Ajaman did nothing pretty much. So yeah, nothing from this team. No promotion or relegation or even essence or XP, but yeah, reasonable scores. And then moving on to the second priority in season team, we went with Brad Guzan net. As we've just seen, that didn't manage to be the right choice. Still went to CJ dos Santos. Went with Tim Ream in defence. managed to pull in a 42. We went with Manu Garcia, which managed to get an assist, as you may have seen, which was really nice. 22A, really good performance from him. He seems to be starting to turn things around and getting amongst the DAs, which is nice. And when we went up front with Shaloy and Shappy, no DAs between them in a 2-0 win, which is slightly disappointing, but reasonable A scores. So yeah, not the end of the world. We managed to get 500 essence from this team, which is quite nice. And as I said, we probably should have put CJ Santos in this team. That would have got us an extra 40 points or so, which would have got us 3 essence, which is unfortunate, but yeah, not too bad. And then the main in-season team, we went for more or less a full San Diego stack with Zaha in. Santos got the clean sheet, as we spoke about. Paddy McNair, he actually got really poor in a clean sheet win, which is surprising, but he managed to luck box into a last man tackle, which is nice. De La Torre was spoke about, who did pretty poorly. Irving Lozano on debut, got a goal and assist. Negative A, which is surprising, but yeah, great from him. And then Wilf Zaha managed to convert that penalty, which was really nice. We actually had, as you may remember, Lozano captain in this team. However, I think it was last minute. It must have been like 20 minutes ago at the deadline. I decided to change it to Zaha, and that managed to prove the right choice, which was really nice. As you can see, we did get the 3 essence, but that's not what matters about this team. As you can see up here, we did manage to hit the first MLS hot streak, which was great. We've already redeemed the 10 bucks that we got from it. But yeah, it gets us on the move and hopefully on the road to this badge that we're trying to aim for. So yeah, a few bits of essence. We managed to get a promotion with this team, which we're now in season D1, which is really nice, as well as the promotion to Classic D2 with this other team. So yeah, as you can see up here, we managed to get quite a bit of cash from this game week, as you may have seen from the Newcastle video. We managed to get quite a bit of essence and a card, so we're going to jump straight into that now. So yeah, as you can see, some promotions, some of the MLS promotions, and U23 one as well, and some Premier League, which is nice. The relegations, both champ teams that were in D1 managed to get relegated, which is quite unfortunate. Nick Pope managed to get the level up, which is nice. We recently bought him in for the Newcastle collection. And then most importantly, the MLS hot streak. Captain Wilf captained the team, and we have hit that first marker. So here is the game week summary. 1 card, 22 essence, $205, which is really nice. And here is the T4 we managed to win from Premier League. We got a midfielder from Serbia and Fulham, which is Sasa Lukic. Quite a nice card. I've actually had his card before, I think a while ago when he first moved to Fulham. So yeah, I am aware of him. I quite like him, to be honest. So not a horrendous pull. The 1 box we managed to pull from Top Tacklers. Pretty low chances of essence in this one. And as you can see, we managed to unfortunately get the lowest, which was 1 essence. However, now the crafting, as you can see, we've got a lot of essence. In limited, we have basically guaranteed chance of an MLS card, which is really nice. We are crafting a tier 5, that's kind of my strategy for all these crafts. So we get 130 out of a 1000. I thought it was very low mint. Argentinian midfielder from Miami. At first I thought I was getting Messi, but no, midfielder. Thought this was nailed on to be Redondo, I'll be honest. However, it was Baltasar Rodriguez. Complete DMP merchant. Never heard of him, I'll be honest. Slightly disappointing because I thought I was nailed on to get Redondo there, which would be a nice pull. Moving on to the rare, as you can see, quite an even split across all of the competitions I play. We only have enough to craft 1 tier 5, but we're going to pump that essence. Quick intermission. If you are new to Sorare and haven't yet signed up, now is the best time to do so. If you click the link in the description, you will get £50 or dollars of market credit once you buy 5 players from the auction house or instant buy. It helps yourself and it helps me, so thank you in advance if you do so. And reveal the card now. 84 of 100, quite a high mint. We do get an English defender from Man United. Oh no. It is unfortunately Luke Fatty Shaw, which is unfortunate. Yeah, complete DMP merchant. I believe he is starting to get back in the team. I think he's returning from fitness, so an interesting one. But yeah, we will be moving him on, unfortunately. So yeah, they were the rewards. Rodriguez, about a market value of about £1 or so. Does look like he used to play for Racing Club, which is slightly interesting. But yeah, I don't think he's even made the bench for Inter Miami yet, which is quite surprising. Does look like he's recently moved, which is interesting. So we'll see if he managed to get amongst stuff. But yeah, not the best of pulls. Sasa Lukic does get game time and does start all the time for Fulham, which is really nice. Does manage to put up some decent scores, so maybe he can be utilised. Market value of about £4 or £5, which isn't horrendous. Luke Shaw did manage to make his first appearance on the bench for Man United against City, which I suppose if you're going to win a Luke Shaw, you're best getting him when he's not injured, which is a rarity. So yeah, trading for about £3, which isn't brilliant. So yeah, that's Luke Shaw. And then we did manage to craft, I believe it was in the midweek, a Mohamed Abdel Monem, which I haven't heard of this guy. He's from Nice, and I believe Nice were playing. Yeah, I won him on the Friday. I believe Nice were playing on the Friday. And to my surprise, after all these DMPs, when I won him, I managed to start that Friday night and pull in a big score, which is quite nice. So that was a bit of a silver lining on what I thought was just a complete DMP merchant. He does seem to be trading for next to nothing. However, I'm not sure if he's predicted to start next week. So if he is, it's not a horrendous pull, I'll be honest. But yeah, not too great on the crafts in the past week or so, but now we are going to jump into the lineup building for game week 70. So as always, we're going to start with the in-season team. We're going to go full in-season. San Diego away to the Rapids. It's not a horrendous game, but obviously it's away from home, so it's not brilliant. Our other teams that we're quite heavily involved in, Charlotte away to Montreal. Be interesting to see if SKC can build on that win they got against St. Louis. I think it makes sense to partner to Santos with Paddy McNair, even though got low A in his last game. I still back him. Midfield's a tricky one. Our two main guys, De La Torre and Manu Garcia. De La Torre, really poor performance last week, and a really good performance from Manu Garcia. So I think we are going to back the form and pick Manu Garcia here. No big San Diego stack this week. Up front, we have Shaloy, Shapi, Lozano, Zaha. We've got the option of someone like Tokamati, who looks as though he will be coming off the bench quite a lot, if not starting very soon. I think it kind of makes sense to go with Zaha on this one, as the San Diego game isn't brilliant. And then the last pick, we have what looks like just so many options. But I think we've got about the form of Chucky Lozano after a goal and assist and put him in the team. The captain choice is quite difficult on this one. No standout fixtures or form. I'm kind of torn between Zaha and Manu Garcia, but I think we've got to go for Zaha here, as he is the star of the team, so we're going to lock that in. The second in-season team, once again, we've got the choice of De Santos or Guzan. I think we've got to back the home game and go to Guzan, so the rest of the team does need to be in-season. We have the options of Ndembe, Byrne, Tim Ream, Shaq Moore. I am tempted to back Ndembe after his huge score, and I think it kind of makes sense with him being at home. So someone we actually bought to be just a bit of a collection piece managed to work his way into the top sides really early, which is really nice. In midfield, we have Matty Longstaff. Not too sure what's happening with him. Obviously, he had the injury a week or two ago, so I'm not sure. Kay can't get into the team, so we've got Yusuf or De La Torre. With Yusuf being against Brad Guzan's team in Atlanta, it kind of doesn't make sense to pick him, so we're going to go for De La Torre. And then up front, we are going to go with the formidable duo of Daniel Shaloy and Shapi. So yeah, quite a heavy SKC team, which is quite surprising given how much of a mess they were and how much I probably would have never went near them at the start of the season. But yeah, we've managed to fall a bit into it, which is slightly surprising. And I think we are going to captain Shapi on this one and hope SKC can turn up. Now for the classic team, obviously we've got De Santos in nets. Lots of options here, like Yedlin, Williams. I'm not too sure what's happening with Williams, so we're going to probably avoid him for now. I think it makes sense to back Tim Ream here. And then Almiron is the safe mid pick. Up front, we've got a lot of options. We've got Joseph coming off the back of a hat-trick away at LAFC. Ajamang, who is in pretty poor form for club, managed to pick up an Milan Iloski after he has went on loan to San Diego from the Danish league, I believe, which is nice. So we managed to pick up for 80p or so, which maybe gives us an extra option in the future. But I think this striker pick is just got to be Joseph coming off the back of the hat-trick. Even though it's a tough fixture, I do back him. And then the final extra pick is a bit of a tricky one. We've got players like Nathan Byrne, De La Torre, Junior Urso, who seems to be coming into a bit of a game here. Some reasonable A performances. Yusuf, who we could pick. We got Bronico. No real standouts, I'll be honest. But I think we are going to go for De La Torre in this one. I'm not too sure why. He just seems the most capable of a DA amongst the final options. We're going to captain Miggy Almiron at home to New England. So they are the rare teams. Now moving on to the limited. We're going to start with the in-season teams. We have the options of Kalina away to Montreal, Ben Lunt at home to the Crew, and Sinclair away to Toronto. I think it kind of makes sense to go with Kalina on this one. I'm lucky not to get the clean sheet last week, so hoping he can get it this week. The rest of the team will be in season. We don't have massive options in defence. We've actually got pretty poor games across the board, to be honest. Jack Mayer seems to have the best fixture at home to RSL. I think we're going to put him in there for now. Midfield, we've got Pep Biel, Rosales, who are both in great form. They're the two main options. I think we're going to go with Pep Biel in this one. Up front, makes sense to go with Zaha, as he's the only safe starter. And then I think it's kind of a no-brainer to go with the previously mentioned Rosales. And then Captain Pep Biel in this one. I think, like last week, we're actually going to build the second in-season team again and do a bit of a Minnesota stack. So we're going to go Dane in nets. Defence is going to be Vauxhall. Midfield's a bit of a tricky one. Obviously, we've used our Rosales, so we can't go Minnesota. I think the only safe starter here is Yusuf, so we're going to go with Yusuf. Up front, again, we've not got loads of options. But I think the form Tokolomati is him. He is a real option. But I think there's a good chance Kerwin Vargas starts this one. So we are going to back the starter over the form of a sub player and go with Vargas. And then the final pick, we've got a few Minnesota options. We've got a few Charlotte options. But I think we're going to pick the safe starter and go with Jefferson Diaz in this one. And we're going to captain Dane Sinclair. And hopefully he can get that clean sheet. Moving on to the limited teams, the last keepers we have are Kalina again or Ben Lunt. As much as Ben Lunt is at home, Columbus are great. They've recently just picked up, as of like half an hour ago at the time of recording, Gaz Dag, which is a great pickup. So I think we are going to go for Kalina in this one. Defence, we've obviously got a lot of options. We're going to go for Malanda. In midfield, even though he's been in relatively poor form this season, we are going to go with Westwood. And up front, it kind of makes sense to go with Ajimang and then follow it up with Wilf Zaha. And then we're going to captain Wilf. Scratch that actually. I'm going to captain Kalina. And hopefully he can come out with a big clean sheet. And then the final team, we've got Ben Lunt in nets. That's the only last safe starter. Couple of options here, but I think Tim Ream will get the start this weekend in left back. Even though Dioni did start last week, I don't think that's going to happen again. So we don't have loads of options. I think I'm actually going to go Junior Urso on this one, as I think he is playing with a good bit of form. That's a nice pick. Up front, no real safe starters, but Ajimang at rare. But I think we're going to go for Tokolomati on this one and back him to get that goal off the bench. And the final defender, we're going to go for Nathan Byrne. We're going to captain Tim Ream. So yeah, these are the teams going out this weekend, hoping to hit that second hot streak and get us further on the way to the third. So yeah, that's all in today's video. Make sure to like, and if you have not already, check out the previous video going over the Newcastle United strategy and our big win there. So yeah, that's all. I'll catch you in the next one.